It's Phil Lindemann with your Krystal 93 News at 5 from Luna Lending. Videos from a second consecutive day of federal immigration stings show agents shoving zip-tied men into unmarked vehicles and construction workers scrambling from work sites. He says, "I was on the roof and had no time to remove a tool belt." That is where the video ends. The video of the man being shoved with zip ties came from Smith Ranch Apartments in Silverthorne. We have not been able to verify just how many were detained in Summit today. Multiple calls to Homeland Security in Denver have not been returned. For now, we rely on these videos and eyewitness reports. These verified detainees are mostly men and mostly up north in Silverthorne or Dillon. Stay tuned next week to learn how these immigration stings are impacting local businesses and employers. Sheriff's deputies used a drone recently to contact a hunter way out in the backcountry when the man's daughter suffered a medical emergency on the Front Range. Summit Sheriff reports the hunter had no cell service, but he was in GPS range. The drone pilot followed those coordinates to send the man a message. An injured moose had to be euthanized on the side of I-70 after it was struck by a vehicle between Silverthorne and the tunnels. The driver was okay. The moose was critically injured, but still alive when deputies arrived. A woman at Copper saw what she thought was a body wrapped in a tarp being tossed into a truck bed. She was suspicious enough to call 911. Sheriff's deputies investigated and found it was not a body, but a bundle of tools. A car stolen from Frisco Transit Center has turned up 500 miles away in a Jackson Hole impound lot. Authorities believe the culprit stole the vehicle in Frisco while suffering a mental health crisis and then drove to Jackson where the crisis continued. The suspect was picked up by Jackson cops. The car will soon be returned. The owner not pressing charges. A masked man was seen lurking around homes near Idaho Springs yesterday and is now in custody. This from 9 News. The man told one resident he was a forest ranger before reportedly stealing thousands in property. Camera footage shows him wielding a gun, dressed in black tactical gear. For the first time in 7 years, not one Summit ski area installed a new chairlift or lodge this summer. But a whole lot of work was happening underground.
We're focusing on the behind the scenes, in-ground infrastructure, and then putting a big priority towards our snowmaking.
That was Breck COO John Copeland. Breck, Copper, and Loveland put time and cash into snowmaking this summer.
I think that is a trend, and I think that's two-part. One, technology is improving. So the manufacturers are making better, higher quality equipment that can do, we'll call it more output or more efficiency, which we're all looking for. And obviously, there's an insulation blanket against Mother Nature.
At Breck, Springmeyer has new permanent snow guns, helping them open more terrain and faster. But not in the way you might think.
Really, that's more than just about the skiing and riding. Obviously, that's a core, but it's making sure our teams can get around the mountain, get to the next step, the next progression.
At Loveland Valley, Rob Goodell's crew doubled down on snowmaking and trail work.
Trail called Zigzag, which is a green run, but had a challenging double fall line. So we did a new trail cut and then added some snowmaking over there so we can get it open a little quicker.
At Copper, General Manager Dustin Lyman says upgraded snowmaking for elite athletes will benefit everyone later in the season.
New coverage coming in to where we are hosting the Alpine World Cup to improve the quality of the snow guns on the east side of the mountain. And then we've put some new technology and new guns into our 22-foot half pipe. Will allow us to build that a lot quicker and a lot more efficiently.
All three admit snowmaking's not exactly sexy, but it is critical. Copeland, again.
Nothing that somebody's going to show up and be like, oh my Lord, that's amazing, but it's the stuff that you got to have making sure it clicks to make sure a mountain runs.
Local fire danger remains moderate today with no fire restrictions into the weekend. The Forest Service has reopened most trails and roads around the Derby fire of Eagle County. One closure remains inside of the fire perimeter on steep wooded cliffsides. In local entertainment news, the Eclipse in Breck is back for regular programming after last week's Breck Film Fest. Showing all weekend is One Battle After Another, starring Leonardo DiCaprio. It screens at 3:30 and 7:15 nightly. In sports, the Rockies open a series with the Giants today. The Broncos are back on Monday for the Bengals. And in local sports, tonight Summit High football is on the road in Steamboat. Tomorrow, boys soccer has Eagle Valley away. Girls volleyball heads to a tournament in Golden. Tigers cross country running in Littleton. And Summit girls rugby is split. 2 teams heading to Fort Collins, 1 team playing Eagle Valley at home. Phil Lindemann, Krystal 93 News.